Welcome to episode number 294 of the Keep Up Podcast.
Where every time you cough, it's actually us just farting in your face.
Come on, man.
That's what you get when you start without prepping me.
Without what? You knew? We've been prepping forever.
Dude, prep is the only half the battle. Oh, I got the squeaky chair this week.
I can hear it. You started the video, right?
Sure. I think we did.
All right, yeah, you did.
I definitely did.
Hey, welcome to the Keep Up Podcast, where I'm Brett and Tim is Tim.
That's me.
We talk about all the things we consume, be it media or food. And hey, listen.
Hey.
What's up, Tim?
Sup, Brett?
Tim was just telling me that he has calculated the total hours of games he's played, hours worth of games he's played.
I believe this is up till April. I don't think I've updated it since April. But.
Starting when? How early did you go back?
I have... So I started recording my game completions in 2017.
Okay.
But I've guessed at the average on like older stuff that I remember completing.
Okay. All right.
So it's rough. It's not exact.
Oh, but that's fair. If you know you beat the game,
yeah,
you could do that.
And I usually
roughly.
I went to like how long to beat and saw the average time, and I was like, I usually beat games a little bit quicker than that. So cut off a few hours.
If you're new or don't have the context, Tim's primary hobby is gaming. And Tim's profession is gaming.
I am a gamer.
So I just want everybody to know where that comes from.
Yes. So I was way off with what I told you.
Okay. For more context, 5 minutes ago, Tim said it was 11,000 hours.
Which sounded right.
I mean, that's a lot.
27,000 hours.
Goodness gracious, that's way more.
The last time I updated this, I beat 2,006 games in my life.
Wow.
Completed credits. That's as far. Some were 100%, some were credits. That's it. There's nothing
What's
less than
credits?
that.
What do you mean credits?
Just like beating the game.
Oh, you got to the credits.
Yeah, to the credits, yeah.
I was like, what is it, like a...
I give myself credit so I could play more games.
I thought it was like a collegiate like credit system where it's like, well, I got credit for Mega Man because I got to Wily, but I didn't have to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, there's a couple that are multiplayer only.
That makes sense.
If I put like 10 to 20 hours into it, I counted it as like finished.
Right. Okay. I was going to say, we've talked about this before. Some games you have to just have a cutoff.
Yes.
Like, do I count this as played?
Right.
I've done enough customization.
I've done everything one can do.
Yeah, right.
Even though there's no like definitive credits. So nowadays, that's a bigger dude.
Just all over me.
Dude, it's really... Yeah, we got the napkins from I can get it. You have headphones on.
Where?
I'm going to walk around. Right over there, remember?
Did it land on my beard? Hey, audio listeners. Damn it, Tim. I say audio listeners now. I guess it makes sense. You are listening to the audio. Did you say napkins? This is toilet paper.
Dude, napkins are just fancy toilet papers cut up.
I guess the only difference between napkins and toilet paper is that this is a roll.
Yeah.
And it immediately makes you think of butts.
Not immediately.
It takes you a minute?
Well, I think of poop first.
I feel like the coffee
Dude.
bounced off my facial hair onto my shirt.
It was pretty like...
onto the table.
Yeah, it was a little like balls almost. Like little tiny moist balls.
You're a little ball.
No, you might need it again.
I'm not going to spill it ever again. What, is that not where it goes?
Dude.
I guess I did throw it in the opposite direction from where...
it was originally.
Whence they came. What the heck were we talking about?
Games. 27,000 hours.
So I'm
27,396 to be specific.
Okay, now how much time is that in like...
Oh, God.
I think let's do it in years.
Okay, so 27,000.
Yeah.
What was it? 396?
Welcome to the Keep Up Mathcast.
And then what do? Divide it by 365?
What'd you just do?
The hours first.
By what? Didn't you know hours?
No, I know.
Oh, you just entered it.
Right.
I was like, what math did you just do?
No. And then I divide it. So what are we trying to figure out? Minutes, days, years? What?
If you divide it by... So you have hours. If you divide it by 24, that'll give you the number of days.
1,141 days.
Now divide that by 365.
365. 3.12 years.
Okay, here's my thing. If someone was like, listen, you can hang out and play, you don't have to sleep or anything. and it'll take 3.12 years, but you will have beaten 2,000 games. I feel like that's fun.
I think that's a pretty fair exchange.
It's not that bad.
I'm 29.
Yeah.
So 3 of my years of existence have gone into consuming video games as an art form.
When you break it down, here's why I'm breaking this down. Because if people say certain things are a waste of time.
Yeah.
You have spent way more time than the average person
Absolutely.
in the gaming sphere. And it's almost like for 26 years, you did whatever else.
Right.
And then for 3 years, you were like, I'm going to play 2,000 video games.
Yeah, I'm going to just cross this off. This is a small thing to do.
I feel like cumulatively, that's not that bad.
I don't feel like I've wasted my life. I feel like I got many experiences.
I'm not accusing you of having wasted your life.
Dude, no, it's like if someone were to walk up to me and say, you waste your life playing video games, I'm like, I've actually only wasted 3 years.
Yeah, now
3.12 years.
Exactly.
And it's not a waste.
Right.
I think it's great. Don't do it, Brett.
I want to say
we're better than this now. We're better than this.
Okay.
We've grown. How many years?
It's going to taste great.
By the end of your life,
Yeah.
how many years do you think you would have wanted to give towards your consumption of the arts?
Oh.
So not just games, but like if at the end of your life you could see like where your years went, where your time went.
How many will I have wanted?
Yeah. Or do you think will accumulate? How many do you think you've accumulated now?
Total?
Yeah. Because movies I haven't factored in, but I think that's...
How could you ever even calculate that?
You would have to just take the hours from every movie you've seen.
Yeah.
Which I've been keeping a list of my movies since 2015, so I could make a list of that too.
I only started in 2020.
I was ahead of the game.
Yeah, you were. How long did it take you to get this compiled list of games?
Oh my God,
you beat?
years.
Like you just been slowly chipping away at it?
Exactly, yeah. So I had to type in every game individually, and then I had to look up the hours. Again, in 2017, I started keeping the hours, how long it took me to beat the games on top of the games. But before that, a lot of it was some games I've replayed and beaten, so I just counted the newer times I went through it.
Okay.
But there were some I played growing up that I haven't played again, but I'm like, I know I spent 40 hours in that one.
Yeah.
And Call of Duties, all the campaigns.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Ton of things I played. So there is, some guesses in there.
Yeah,
but,
plus or minus.
Yeah, but a majority of my gaming has been in the last 10 years.
I would say, if anything, it's certainly not less than that.
Right.
Because think of the multiplayer on COD and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't even count in hours from COD. Because Call of Duty, I think, is Modern Warfare 2 specifically. I think I had 17 days or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that alone already adds to that list. But
I don't know how much. I will say I don't feel bad giving time to consumption. But I know for some people, you must know people like that, like this. I haven't said it yet. I haven't said the thing yet.
Okay.
You must know people like the person I'm about to describe.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I know people who are like, I want a movie that literally means nothing. I don't want undertones. I don't want it to speak to me in any way. I want pure idiocy.
Yeah.
And I want to zone out and zone back in and have missed nothing.
Nothing.
Did I just say missed?
Yeah,
I think I put a
dude,
K in there.
You can miss nothing.
I, however, will rewind if I miss a word, and I'm like, "What is?"
Even if it is that type of movie,
yes,
or whatever.
I'll still be like, what? Now that's probably obsessive compulsive disorder.
Hey,
but,
I do it too. I want to hear every single bit.
Yeah, I feel like I'll be like, no, I didn't see that movie. I looked away for a second, and so I
got to watch it all over again.
But so for that person, the answer to that question would probably be very little, because it's pure escapism.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like it's such a big part of my life because I'm always making things and it's always meant a lot, and I love reading into art, and then you add in reading and stuff, and the amount of comics I've read and then
TV shows and music too, if you throw that in there.
Dude, music's impossible. I can't. I tried. The year I started keeping a list of shows I finished and movies and stuff like that, I started adding records that I had listened to for the first time that year, and I couldn't keep up with it. A week would go by, and because of streaming services, I'd listen to 5 new albums, and I would totally forget.
Be like, what the heck did I listen to?
Yeah, it's brutal. I can't keep track of that. Music's definitely. I wonder how much time I've spent listening to music in my life.
I bet your list would be awesome.
The list would probably be crazy.
Yeah,
I did think about. I really want to start a playlist on Spotify of one song from every band I've ever heard of.
Oh.
But I have to pick the best song.
The best song.
And put it alphabetical.
Oh, that sounds tough.
It would take forever.
Yeah.
It'd be like what you had to do to like put together your hours list.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know. That's a thing I might do.
Yeah. I love keeping lists and having
I do like lists a lot.
so much. It's nice,
lists.
especially as a way to like remind myself, like,
Yeah.
oh, I played that or I watched that. And maybe that's not a good thing that I can't remember if I did, but
No, I don't know. I think a lot of people are like that. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's just because you and I are like that.
because we're freaks. But yeah, so I haven't done it with movies, and yeah, I don't know. At the end of my life, I'd like to have. I'm at 3 years for gaming. It'll be a significant amount of time.
I mean,
25 years.
do you think you're gaming more now than you were, let's say, 5 years ago? Like, is it increasing? Or has it steadied out?
I think it is definitely will be less this year. COVID years definitely allowed me to do a lot more, and because I stream full time gaming wise. But this year I'm actually focusing on bigger games. So instead of trying to complete as a ton more games, I'm doing much larger games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm at 105 games completed.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it? July.
Yeah.
Essentially halfway through the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I'll hit. I think last year I hit 325 games completed or something. Yeah, it was the most I've ever done, and it'll probably be the most.
Yeah,
for sure.
I remember you saying that. You were like, I don't know if I'll hit that.
Yeah,
again.
I don't think I'll beat it. But yeah, I've been enjoying the longer games.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool ones I've missed out on. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones are intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially, the feeling of completing a thing.
Oh, I'm always playing a bunch of mini indie games in between. So
you got to do that
to satisfy the urges.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my list of time for my life.
Well,
quantified.
Now we know that.
Yeah.
I saw a video about this game. Well, we can talk about games later.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, before we move on in the podcast, if you have not, you can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/thekeepup. We recently updated it. So there's a $1 tier where you will get a shout out on the podcast and access to any exclusive posts on there, of which there will be some. And there's a $5 tier where you can get The Keep Up in Cricket City. It's our Patreon exclusive podcast. We put out once a month on there. And you will also get to help curate our content by responding to a post on there once a month. Either you can leave reviews, you can leave suggestions for us to review. I don't know, other stuff, whatever you want. But check that out. And you can find us on all socials at The Keep Up Podcast all over the place. And where are we going to go?
Let's go into technology.
All righty then.
Technology.
I started recording, and I'm also going to take a sip of... I have coffee. Tim's got water.
How much coffee can you really sip where it's satiating?
I'm not sure I understand what the question is.
Like drinking coffee, is that as refreshing as drinking anything else? Or is that...
I would say it's 0% refreshing.
Yeah.
It's a...
What does it do as far...
It's the most Italian I've ever been in my life.
What to do for you, brother?
I'm trying to think of how to explain this to you. It's a productive consumption. When I have a coffee, when I'm gonna sit down and edit and stuff, I make coffee.
Yes.
In the morning I make coffee, but it's also, I guess it's a comfort thing, because I also love to make coffee if I'm gonna sit down and play games for 2 hours.
Wow, Brett. That's a long time to put into a video game.
I know what you're thinking.
Relax.
I know what you're thinking. 2 hours straight? What? After you get through the menu?
Dude.
Sometimes it's like that.
That's not possible.
I go hardcore.
I think back to all the games you've played recently and all the time you put into that werewolf game. Could have been easily put into anything else.
Okay. I played that game for probably a total of 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Maybe it was last year.
That was the last game I heard you play, Brett. That was the last one
I played Little Kitty Big City.
Oh, it's true.
I know. And I learned about the Tanuki.
Yes.
And I've since learned more about the Tanuki.
Too much that I'm afraid to say that I know about now.
It's kind of incredible.
It's an amazing creature.
Don't you wish you had that ability?
Dude, I do. What do you mean?
What? The things I never knew. You guys should look up the Tanuki and just type in what's a special thing about the Tanuki.
What's one unique thing that the Tanuki can do?
What is one fact about the Tanuki? Shouts to Uncle Mike for the most hilarious fact
my God.
we never knew.
He's really enlightening us.
We should put out some merch with a Tanuki on it.
Why?
because of this. Just because of this one conversation. We should put out any merch.
That's true.
Dude, I've been working on an animatronic merch store in my brain forever, dude.
That's the thing. We're the best at ideas.
So good.
We're terrible at executing them.
I'm going to execute everything this year.
You were going to say everyone.
This is my year. Everyone who gets in my way is getting executed.
Get out of here.
Dude, you would think I'm the biggest Kiss fan on the planet
Yeah.
because I have so many Kiss shirts. I just keep finding them.
And you keep them.
I do like Kiss, but there's like 5 songs that I think are bangers.
Yeah.
And then some that I'm like, pretty good.
I only know like 5 songs.
You probably know this one.
What's that one?
Rock
and Roll. And I do know that one.
Do you know Detroit Rock City?
I don't think so.
I think you do. It's one that's like dan 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 do 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 do. You know that one? It's a
That
dope,
doesn't help.
It's a dope bass line. You know the part that's like do 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 do.
If I hear it, I might.
You're hearing it
Well,
right
I'm
now.
not
You're
hearing-
hearing it verbatim with no difference from the original audio recording.
It's true. Your version.
Do 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 do.
That's exactly how it sounds. You know, it sounded more familiar the more you do it.
Listen to this part.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. That part's cool.
That's really, I mean, dude, sounds just like it.
You know what you need to play a bass?
Yes.
Technology.
Yes. Dude, nice transition.
Transition.
You know, technology is something we don't visit as often as we should. It's the forgotten child
Yep.
of the Keep Up. And
Yeah, I guess it is.
maybe this or that.
You haven't hit a stupid question in decades.
It's true. Dude, we just keep evolving.
Tim got smart.
I know. I asked all my questions.
He's all out.
There's nothing stupid left.
We should make a compilation of stupid questions, actually. That would be funny.
Maybe I should ask a stupid question. Anyways, today's about technology.
Yeah.
And I got 2 little tidbits of technology here.
Oh, 2 little tidbits.
I'm just gonna let you have that one, Brett. Dish Network.
Yeah.
Long time, or not Dish Network. Yeah, DirecTV is what I meant to say.
Is it not? What's Dish?
That's a separate thing, I guess.
Is that your new Dreamcast hat?
Yeah.
Why is it back there?
What do you mean?
It's just a display piece now?
Oh, well, I'm out of I could go across, but then it'll be in front of the air conditioner.
But that doesn't mean you're not going to wear it.
No, that means I am going to wear it.
Oh, okay.
I have a hat there that I wear. I have a Sonic hat over there. I have...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a hat up there. I got hats everywhere, man.
All right.
I don't know. I need like a hat rack at this point.
Your mother's a hat rack.
Where would you suggest I put the hats? You didn't even block your face with that cough. You're just like, oh, you're giving me diabetes.
I'm not sick. I just swallowed a little bit of something. Okay. A little bit of Monica.
Oh.
So Dish Network.
Nope, DirecTV.
Direct Network TV, television.
Longtime competitor of cable.
Yes, just the royal cable.
Back in the day, it was a big deal.
Yeah,
you
it
had, you were either a DirecTV household or you were a Comcast household.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if you were weird, you have Dish Network or
That's right.
I don't know what else there was, to be honest.
Spruce TV.
I don't even know what that is.
I made it up.
At least where we are in the New England area,
Yeah.
that was the big back and forth. And for a long time, people swore by satellite dish that you would put this gigantic dish in your yard,
Yeah.
and you would get some satellite connection to get the best channels,
Right, from all the different planets.
Yes.
And you get every channel from the solar
the
system.
universe. It was
Right.
actually a great deal.
It was.
They have now destroyed all their dishes. No longer will DirecTV have dishes.
Would you say they've discontinued them?
Oh,
Huh?
yeah.
Would you say that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This guy gets it.
that was a great one.
So, are they going around and just shooting them off people's houses? Because I gotta say, when I see one,
Yes.
I'm like, wow, that's
Wow.
a time capsule.
Right, that feels like such a relic of like the 90s, maybe early 2000s.
Did
But
they do anything anymore? Like, have they been doing anything?
I legit have no idea the history of DirecTV at this point.
Are they even real? Did they ever do anything where they just like put this dish on your house?
And
What if it
then-
was just free advertising?
For what? To get the service?
It ran through cables, but they were like, put this giant dish on your house, so everyone who drives by will be like, I gotta get that.
I need that. Because I remember at one point we did have DirecTV.
We did, yeah.
And I remember it was a nightmare. If it rained, you couldn't get anything.
Yeah,
if
dude,
it wasn't
if the wind
aimed,
blew, everything was like blurry.
It is such a weird thing to like expect people to enjoy that as a product. But cable must have been way more expensive, you'd think?
It had to have been. But also wasn't, I think the pitch was DirecTV, you got so many channels, right? Like,
yes, you got probably way more than cable, at least at the time.
Yeah, because with cable, you had to pay for extra to even like see a movie channel. Like you had to pay for HBO and like, what was the other one? Showtime.
Yep.
And with DirecTV, it was like they started adding basically what streaming services are doing now. It was like you get sports, you get sports and that kind of stuff.
That's sports.
You know what I mean?
And sports is a weird thing with TV anyways. Like that's always separate from like movies and TV and stuff. Like you had to get the cable package, the movie package, and sports.
That is funny. They don't like separate it by anything. They're not like pay an extra $15 a month for drama.
Yeah.
Or like different genres or something.
It's just straight up sports or...
Food, was food ever you don't pay for food separately?
No.
Remember when the Food Network was like, there's a whole network for food?
Yes.
And now it's like, all I watch on YouTube.
Food is something that's universal. Everybody likes to watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have now got rid of the dishes and specifically satellite-free television is how they're promoting it.
Satellite-free?
Which is weird, like...
Why are they even promoting it? Like,
yeah, it's like that's a thing that is specific to them. I don't know why you would get rid of it, but it must not have been doing well.
I am curious what that transition looks like for them. Like, is it like those things are actually doing something and they need to move the service to a different like function?
Yeah.
Or are they just like, hey, these haven't been doing anything for a while? Like, I guess, how does this impact someone who has that?
I think they just had to get like a cable box now. I think they're transitioning to a cable box.
I wonder what the price, like if someone had been grandfathered into like, they've been paying $8 a month for Dish TV or whatever, or DirecTV. So is that all DirecTV has been?
Is the satellite, the Dish.
So now they're just another like cable provider?
Yeah, they're just like anything else. Is that, do you think that's a weird thing? Like, do you think less people will go for them now that they don't have the Dish?
Maybe. Because
you would think technology would advance to make the Dish, like, better.
Sure.
But, I don't know, maybe it's expensive to make the Dish. And better question, you were asking it, what happens to the Dish now? Do they send it back? Does it still receive a signal?
It mustn't make sense for them to continue using it the way TV is now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need they must have no new customers for that.
No.
Who's out looking for that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Why go to DirecTV?
I could see the advantage maybe if you're like in the middle of nowhere. You might have a better chance to get a service with a Dish as opposed to a cable.
That's true.
I
know. That's the big thing now is everything. You need service.
Yes.
You know, things can cut out, freeze. That's still something I'm not used to. I'm watching a show on Netflix or whatever, and there's like a storm out, and it freezes.
And it's like
and I'm
buffering.
Like,
you're like, huh?
I'm like, what is this? An NES? Like, why is
what's going on
is
here?
it cake frozen right now?
Oh,
that's interesting. Yeah. I'm curious about the price because the biggest impact I can think of is someone who's like, you know, it's like when you skirt by something on your phone bill and you're like, I hope no one ever notices. And this is like, oh, shoot, they're taking away the cheap thing. And now you might have, like Comcast has, it's practically a monopoly.
Yes.
Like, and they're not cheap.
At least specifically where we live. Because there is like, what's the other one?
Consumer something?
Yeah, COX.
Oh, is that?
That's what I'm going to call it.
I forgot about them. Yeah,
that one exists.
I've been hearing those ads a lot.
Yeah, I hear people really complain about them. So that's the problem. Is all like cable. They all suck.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's good out there.
There are none that's like the clear choice.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah,
because like I would be willing to spend more money if there was a consistently great service.
That is the worst. Our first year in our house now, and these are like major first world problems, but like we paid extra for certain internet, especially because I was working from home.
Right.
So using lots of internet, and then like we have multiple different like gaming systems and smart TVs and all this stuff. And it's like you pay extra and everything would like go so slow.
Yeah.
And
it's like, what are you paying for?
I feel like there's it can only get so good. You know what I mean? Like if me and another person are both playing games on a smart TV, everything's using the internet, plus there's multiple smartphones, like there's got to be a point where it's like, it's just overloading.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but they'll always be like, well, you could pay an extra whatever. And
then it still doesn't work.
it still doesn't work. And you're like, well, I just gave them a bunch of extra money.
Yeah, for nothing.
And then you call them and they're like, we're working on it.
we'll get you fixed.
And it's not their fault because it's all just like things in the air that nobody has control of
Right,
anyways.
magical waves.
Yeah.
So I will come back next week for what's it called? Reflections, and come back with numbers about the price difference and stuff because I want to research.
Oh
this
yeah,
now.
I'm curious
because
about
I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. So
Yeah.
we can come back and finish the conversation next week.
Let's finish it.
But I do have one other thing in technology.
What is it?
Sony recently announced that they are stopping production on optical media. That includes Blu-rays, DVDs, and CDs. However, and I think a lot of people got it misconstrued, including myself, it is just the recordable kind. So you know how you would get, back in the day, I think they were called CDRs.
Yes.
And it was like a huge stack of blank DVDs.
Yeah, I
and
have
you could like burn
spools of them at my house.
Yeah, for CDs or movies, you would burn that stuff. So they're stopping production on that, on the recordable side of it.
You said Blu-rays in that list?
Yeah, Blu-rays apparently you could record stuff on, which I guess you could hold up to 125 gigabytes on a Blu-ray disc.
Damn.
So people, I wish I knew about it because you could save like home movies and obviously full movies and stuff on it. Burning discs essentially is the market they're killing.
It's another thing that's like, I kind of forgot that was like those have been in production and it must have been dying. Like,
Yes.
I used to absolutely love it. Like making my own mix CDs and stuff like that.
And DVDs, you would always have a friend who has a binder full of a bunch of like burned,
Absolutely.
pirated movies.
Yeah, dude, that's how, you know how much like anime I saw on just burnt DVDs?
That really, I think, helped the industry a lot. At least anime specifically. Like people would find rips online.
Totally. A lot of times that's how, at least when we were growing up, like probably companies would find out like, oh, people want this. And then DVDs, like collections of it would start coming out. And anime is a really good example of that because it used to be so niche and you could only find it in certain places. Like if you found, I'll never forget finding Suncoast video stores had a whole anime section. And I was like, what? A whole section?
It's like there's enough anime out there for because it was really weird finding anime anywhere because it was like I remember going into like FYE and they had just like a little section in the corner of anime and it was like a lot of old stuff, a lot of weird looking stuff, and I'm like I was blown away. I was like, they have anime here?
Yeah,
I didn't know it became big until much later. Like as I got older, it was like anime started blowing up,
and you're like, oh, it's a whole culture.
Yeah.
And now it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. You can't escape it.
You can't escape it.
We are now anime.
We are. So, what's the last thing you burnt on a CD?
You know what's crazy is I don't even have a thing that has like anything that has an optical drive.
I bought one.
I also bought one.
Yeah, you have one?
Because I have old I Spy and CD games, PC games back in the day. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like my PC doesn't have it. My laptop doesn't have it. Like nothing takes it other than my old consoles now.
Yeah, this doesn't even have a disk drive.
Yeah. So what did you buy it for?
I bought it because I found a pile of my whole life I've kept recordings of my bands because there was a place when I was growing up. First place I ever played a show, I was 13 years old, and there was this place that recorded your live sets. I've probably told this story before. And, you know, so I have recordings of me playing like 20-something years ago, my first show. And then every band I was in played at that place because that was like the place.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because they handed you a recording of you. Now, the mixing is awful.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Dude, I have one recording that there's no guitar for the first like 2 minutes of a song. It's only bass and drums and a little bit of vocals. And then at the end, it's like the guitar goes, wah! Like they were like, oops, and turned it up.
Oh my God.
But I found all these CDs and they're all starting to like wear away.
Yeah.
So I bought a disk drive to rip them all to my computer. And then I have, like I said, I literally have spools of blank discs and I might like reburn them just to make sure I have multiple copies of them. Because it's just stuff I'll never you can never recreate.
Yeah. So if it gets lost, that's it. It's
That's
lost.
that. Yeah, exactly. So,
I was reading up that I guess Blu-rays are guaranteed to last, as CDs and DVDs and all those said originally too, like up to decades, they said, 20, 30 years.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. So I think that it's more valuable to get those over like a hard drive because hard drives, tend to fail. They don't last super long.
Dude, I get scared about that like every day because in order to keep my computer like up and running, I ditch stuff off of it like once a week. As soon as I'm done with a project, I bring the folder full of that project's like promotional media, audio files, video files, all onto a hard drive. And I need to duplicate it because the drive has like, I think, a terabyte of information on it. But I can't keep it all on my computer. But I don't trust hard drives.
No, you shouldn't, especially if you're like plugging one in. Those for whatever reason have issues all the time.
Dude, drives me crazy.
So hence why saving things, because you could save a lot of that stuff to a Blu-ray disc.
That's true.
I don't know if burning a Blu-ray works as opposed to a CD or a DVD.
You must just need a certain drive.
Yeah, because I know you can't just plug a Blu-ray into a normal disc drive, so there's probably a Blu-ray drive. But yeah, it's just kind of a fascinating thing. Like as technology advances, I see more and more things that I take don't even notice, and then once they're gone, I'm like, oh, maybe I did want to use some Blu-rays and stuff.
Okay, one more question on that. Do you think those things will become expensive at any point?
Yes. Well, once you stop production, so there's going to be a ton of people to buy them up. Who will have a back stock for themselves, but also I assume to sell. At some point, because I think when they stop production, I think it takes like a couple months because you got to clear out the inventory. So they might have sales on it. They might, you don't even know, some random record store might have a big stack of them somewhere. Like, I don't even know where you find them, really. Probably Best Buy or...
some corner Radio Shack.
Yes. Are they still around?
I don't even know.
So, it's just kind of fascinating to see as we're going more into a world without optical media. They're getting rid of our ability to create things. And eventually at some point they might stop on their own and be like, well, it's not profitable. And that was the whole end cap to that announcement, is that they will keep doing normal Blu-rays for movies and games and all that stuff until it becomes unprofitable, and then they will stop that too.
Which that bums me out.
Yeah.
Everything going fully 100% digital is a sad thing in my mind.
Well, we don't even own anything.
Yeah.
If you look at all the digital stuff you have, it's connected to an account. If you lose the account or the website goes down, that's it. But DVDs, movies, Blu-rays, you can still plug them in regardless if there's internet or not.
Right. That's the thing, man.
Yeah.
Depending on the internet for all things.
Which, I mean, in our lifetime, probably won't be a big deal. I don't think any of that stuff will disappear, to my knowledge. But it is like, do you give your Amazon account to the kids that's full of all these digital movies?
Right. You do that,
I mean, if they know the email and password.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I am definitely in a DVD mood. I've been collecting a lot of DVDs and collections, especially because they're dirt cheap.
Now's the time.
Yeah, I found a Godzilla collection. Had, 8 movies?
Oh, sick.
$7.
What?
It has Godzilla 2000, Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla. It was like a huge collection.
Mecha Godzilla probably had that one in there. Yeah.
Yep. So I was like, sure. I mean, DVD quality, granted, it's not the best quality, but...
Yeah, I don't care about that, though. If you're watching something like that, you know what I mean? Like, there are certain movies I want to make sure the quality's, top tier. But, I mean, we weren't getting, MCU effects back then.
Right.
So
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And sometimes those movies are worse with better quality because you can see, the holes in the CGI.
And I hear with a lot of the, 4K Blu-rays, they don't look as good as they originally did.
I've never even watched one, I don't think.
I've seen... 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And they all, I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
But it's, I assume the older stuff probably just doesn't. From what I've heard, there's a lot of AI upscaling and stuff that makes things look a little not as great.
I don't like it.
Yeah. You see some artifacts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, if you guys plan on burning things to Blu-rays or DVDs or CDs, you might want to buy some up now so you can do that. Or if you got a stack somewhere. I think I might actually have a stack somewhere of CDs or DVDs because I was going to burn games to them for my PlayStation.
Oh, cool.
We'll see.
I need you to find some games for me, by the way.
That's done. I got them.
All right, cool.
Right over there.
Speaking of games.
Yes.
You want to go into movies?
Yep.
Ooh, let's go to the movies.
All right, I can't wait to hear you talk about this.
Okay. This is a movie that for a long time I've wanted to watch. My hopes were very low for it because I didn't know what to expect. And so I kept my expectations low. And I saw a movie called Street Fighter.
From 1996. I don't know.
Let me pull it up.
No, wait. Let me think.
Yeah.
Let me think. Honestly, 96 feels right. 97.
I was going to say 97. Street.
Makes sense you didn't see it. You were a fetus.
Oh, 94.
Wow.
Dude, we were off. We were off.
When the hell did Street Fighter come out?
The game?
Yeah, 2.
92, I think, yeah.
Wow.
Street Fighter 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, 92, I want to say.
They made that movie 2 years after the game came out?
That's how big it was.
Holy bananas.
Could be wrong, though. Maybe it came out in 93.
That wasn't Van Damme's prime.
No, I think Alpha was out by... Because 94 is like... Yeah.
That just seems fast.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe...
Took the world by storm.
Yeah, I guess I was too young to be as aware of what was going on because it's not like there were never adaptations before that. But like now, when an adaptation gets announced, I gauge whether like, oh, they're finally making that, or like, wow, that was fast. This movie's gonna suck. You know what I mean?
right.
But that's fast.
Yeah.
I didn't think about Street Fighter 2 coming out and then that coming out like that fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess they knew what they were doing.
I just said that a bunch of
That's
times.
a lot of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched this movie like a month and a half ago now. It's been a while. It's been on our list for a long time, but
I know it left a lasting impression though.
it did so much. Okay. Here's the thing about this movie.
Tell me what it is.
It is a cheese fest. If you bring some crackers because they're handing out cheese every 5 seconds. It is over the top.
Yeah.
Overacted.
Yeah.
Crazy, like, I don't even want to say effects, but just like so many goofy, crazy things happening. So it's fun in that regard.
Yeah.
As far as a Street Fighter fan,
Yeah.
they butchered the characters horrifically. Every character, like, you know, as someone who is so, like, who's seen Street Fighter over the years grow as far as, like, their characters and their stories, I know how deep these characters can get. At this point, I don't know how well established they actually were, their stories.
I don't know either.
Like Cammy, for instance, and I forgot the actress who played her, but
Wasn't it Kylie Minogue?
You could be right.
I'm almost positive that was Kylie Minogue. I'm realizing as I sit here,
That's funny.
I know way more about this movie than.
I'm glad you do, because
Also, Ming-Na Wen as Chun-Li.
As Chun-Li, which I think was pretty solid.
is great.
Yeah, I think that would. Now, I'm not saying the actors specifically were bad.
Some of them were bad picks.
Yeah. Bison's a little goofy. That's Gomez.
I've never understood.
From is Gomez? Yeah, from Addams Family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of goofy.
I thought that was weird. That always stuck out to me as weird. There were in his like full costume. I thought he like I was like, all right, he
was
looks
all
like
right.
Bison. But there was something about now I haven't seen it in probably 15 years or something. It's been a long time. Especially if we didn't watch it together. No, we watched that web series together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one was
pretty
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. So Cammy, I don't remember her full story, but
She was just like more of a like, you know, the Cammy story that we know from the games.
she is British military, right?
Yes, British
Yeah.
military, but she was like mind controlled by Bison. And then she has like assassin skills, and then she broke free. And they're like, she has a deep, like dark, crazy story. And then she's just like a goofball that like punches a couple guys, and she's like Guile's like underling but hot side lady.
Yeah.
You know, like she's just kind of like eye candy for you.
I also loved, and I don't know if this is a little like, I don't know what the word would be, like nationalist or whatever, but I always thought it was funny that the most over-the-top American character in Street Fighter history has a very strong accent from Brussels.
Now, it really is so funny.
I have no qualms with Van Damme as Guile, but I just thought that was funny because like Street Fighter was so about like where everyone was from, which was the thing that I thought was so cool, was seeing different fighting styles from different parts of the world, and I love that so much. And I remember even as a kid being like, oh, the American guy sounds super French.
It's like this, he's not very American at all. It is true, because everyone does kind of jump around in nationalities, and you're right, it is such a strong identity of Street Fighter to do this. But a lot of characters don't even do like iconic moves.
No,
for
that's
their
true.
characters.
He does.
Know?
He does the flash kick.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some fun moments. But yeah, even when like Ken and Ryu show up and they're like a buddy cop duo, and Ken's kind of like, his portrayal was terrible, I think.
I barely remember it.
Yeah, it's essentially he's just like, he makes decisions that are not good, and they make Ken seem kind of like more selfish.
Oh, yeah.
at certain points, and Ryu's like, no, I'm going to go help everyone. And Ken's
That
like, no,
doesn't-
you got to run and survive.
That doesn't surprise me, though. They're like the Leo and Raph kind of dynamic.
Yeah, I would say so. But again, they were just like goofy. Like they showed up, and I'm like, if this is freaking Ken and Ryu, I'm leaving. And it was Ken and Ryu, and I'm like, no!
Yeah, I remember not loving I mean, I don't know.
It was like, I appreciate the attempt.
Yeah.
But it was, some things are so just off base.
Yeah, especially like you said, the way we know Ryu now, like he's a very serious, very disciplined, and I think that was what they were going for, but
They had to put it in a more realistic scope, I guess.
I think that is there's a couple of hurdles, especially in 94, where it's like, okay, how fantastical do you go with it? Because they all have like superpowers essentially in the game. How do you show a Hadouken fireball? Can they do that?
Right.
And then there's what's the audience for this? So that's where you get, I think, the goofiness, and there's like the comedy with E Honda when he comes through. It's either E Honda or Zangief comes through a brick wall that is clearly like foam bricks.
Oh, yeah.
It looks so funny.
I think it was E Honda that does it.
It looks like they're in like a ball pit
Yeah.
at Chuck E. Cheese, and there's
And
like,
he's like, oh,
yeah,
coming
just like
through.
foam, or like the gymnastics foam pit. That's
Yeah.
what the bricks look like. So I think there were a couple of hurdles there where it's like how they'd use like some weird science with Blanca. That
Oh
was
my
another
God.
one that's like,
Blanca.
yeah, it's a pretty rough look.
They tried.
They tried.
Yep.
I honestly, thinking back, I think Chun-Li was the best part.
I think,
The most on point.
for the most part, there was she was a little stupid at some points.
Yeah,
they like had a plan, and they like, but the plan didn't work, and it was obvious it wasn't going to work, but she still went along with it anyways. And I don't know, there was just points where I'm like, okay, if it was like Super Cop Chun-Li,
Yeah.
she would have been more. But in this, she's a reporter. There's a difference. In the movie, she's
a reporter.
So I think that it gives a little leeway for like her having like stupid ideas or plans. Not that reporters are stupid, but more so that she's
but
not a cop.
If she's a super cop,
Right.
and she's like, just kind of, yeah.
Making weird decisions. I
Thank
guess.
you.
Yeah.
Wow. Nailing it.
So that there is some differences between characters and stuff like that. I was impressed at the roster though. I mean, you see so many characters.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You get. Name a character who's probably in there somewhere.
Vega
Yep.
is in there. Do you get Balrog?
Yes.
Yep. Balrog.
Balrog. Yeah, I mean Blanca. you
Pretty
get-
much everyone from the Street Fighter 2. Dalsim.
Yep. He's a scientist though.
that's
He
right.
doesn't get any stretchy powers or anything like
They're
that.
probably like, I can't figure that out.
It's like we'll worry about that next one.
Yeah. It's a camp fest. Like if you, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
If
it is. I don't know who I would recommend it to, because like if you're a fan of Street Fighter, it definitely does not do Street Fighter justice.
No, I think it's a fun watch though.
It's
Like,
fun, yeah.
But you got to put yourself in like kind of like Power Rangers territory.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
to enjoy
yeah.
it. Like
I
it's
think that's
that. It's not like now where we'd want like a serious take.
Yeah.
you know. It's a kids movie. It's kind of like well, I don't know. Could you call it a kids movie? It's definitely made for families to like be at the theater.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
for like older kids, but
Yeah.
not like teenagers. Like in between, kind of. I mean, teenagers can enjoy it. Anybody can, but yeah, you can definitely tell it's for like 11, 12-year-olds.
Yeah, because so if that came out in 94, I definitely saw that in the theater. So I literally would have been 7 or 8 years
Yeah.
old, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that one, and I think my dad might have taken me to that. So he was a huge Van Damme fan. And it's one of those ones where like, do you have any memories as a kid being like, oh, I loved that movie? And you didn't really clock it then, but whatever adults you were with were like, yeah.
Oh yeah, Spy Kids 3D. I saw it twice. I saw it with my friend Omar and his family, and then I made mom go take me.
Yeah.
because I loved it so much, dude. If you watch that movie nowadays,
Yeah.
holy crap,
Real bad.
Oh my god,
I never saw any of those movies.
It's just like the craziest CGI that you've ever seen, because the whole movie was 3D, and they
That's
go
right.
into a video game world, but they're all just like on like blue screens.
And
Like
when did that come out?
2006.
Tough era for CGI.
Yeah, really tough.
Not a lot lasted from that era.
I love that movie though. But yeah, it's one of those that like, oh my god, anybody else who would go and watch it would be like, I'm miserable.
Yeah, like I think
2003. I'm sorry.
Oh wow,
Dude, my times are off today.
Tim's off.
I
He's
can't
off his
think of
game.
anything.
That was definitely one. Street Fighter was one where I left the theater, and
You're
I know
"That
I was
the-
stoked,
the
and my dad was
greatest
probably
movie."
like, "Glad you had fun, buddy." Glad one of us did.
I'm glad you could enjoy this.
So I have a lot of nostalgia attached to it.
Yes.
I'm not unaware of what it is, but as someone who you've never seen it before,
Never seen it, nope.
massive Street Fighter fan.
Yep.
Keeper or sleeper?
I would say Keeper just is
Yep.
a fun, like, goofy, campy movie.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything great Street Fighter wise. Honestly, the action, there's really nothing for like an hour. Like,
Yeah,
there's some
it's
fighting at the
yeah.
beginning, and then there's a lot of story, and then you get the final, like, climactic adventure. But even then, there's not a ton of fighting. For a
No.
movie called Street Fighter, I expected more fighting.
Yeah, I know.
But it's,
they
you know,
should've done
that's kind of whatever, because you're still just laughing at everything else going on.
Yeah, and they did put a lot of effort into like making sure you see every character in their like classic costume and stuff like that.
That was fun. It made no sense when everybody changed into their costumes at the end of the
It's just
movie.
big finale.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. I don't feel like now if you do something like that, everybody watching will be like, why are they all in just like different costumes?
Yeah, it's like what?
It's the same thing I mentioned in Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
In the finale, they go from one like fighting Poison Ivy,
Yep.
and then they go from there, I think, to Mr. Freeze,
Mm-hmm.
and in transit get new costumes. Like they literally leave one place,
Yep.
and then it's like time to go somewhere else, and then cutscene, and they're all riding on something in different costumes. I'm like, why? Now there's
This makes no sense.
everybody has silver trim all of a sudden. Yeah. So it's definitely a different time for particularly game adaptations.
Yeah.
Like when people say there are no video game adaptations, that's like the era we're talking about.
That's why there aren't any.
Yeah.
But I would still say it's Keeper.
Yeah.
Fun to watch on the weekend with some friends. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't live up to the hype that I heard about it. Like when people talk about it. Like if I were to compare this and Mortal Kombat all day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish that because they took it more seriously.
Yep.
And Mortal Kombat, they had comedy, like they used the characters for that. Like,
Yes.
Like Zangief was kind of that in Street Fighter, but he was like a little too doofy.
Yeah, he was like an idiot, but he made some good jokes.
He did, yeah. Like I wish like maybe he was the one comic relief instead
Yeah.
of trying to do like fire kind of comedy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Onomatopoeia comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I feel like Mortal Kombat is better and it's more enjoyable because there is good action.
Yep.
They try to recreate some of what you do in the game. Yeah, I don't know, it's cool. That movie rules.
It does rule.
love
It's
that
so,
movie so much.
Dude, I feel like we talk about it every podcast because it's just that good.
It comes up a lot. But it's funny to me that people still hear about Street Fighter because
Yeah.
it was like a moment in time and it was a big adaptation because Street Fighter 2 is like one of the biggest games ever. So that's funny. I'm glad you've finally seen it. Van Damme's huge in it.
He has something.
Dude's
in it.
ripped.
He is ripped.
Love that guy. We need to talk about a very different movie.
Yeah, let's go the complete opposite direction.
So, I feel like I've been waiting for this movie for a very long time, but realistically, it probably hasn't been that long.
I think we saw the trailer earlier this year.
Okay.
Not even like maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah. But the marketing's just been so intense
Yes.
that it's like,
It's been smacking us in the face.
yeah. So, we found a way to get together. And in the company of our mother and our sister, we went to see a movie called Longlegs.
That's anytime you say long legs, you hear like the
All right. I expect that to happen every time the word gets said.
yeah.
Marketing for this movie was unbelievable.
Yes.
And I would say in one respect, very, very effective. It's all I heard about. It's the only horror movie I could really think about because it's just been like, there was a phone number you could call. There were, facts about on set how, what's her name? I think it's Micah Monroe is
Mia
the...
Goth.
No.
Mia
is the primary actress.
Long legs.
How her heart rate raised when she first saw Nicolas Cage.
What'd you say?
Micah Monroe.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. And how it's so disturbing and it sticks with you and all this stuff. And I know that marketing is marketing.
Yes.
So let me ask you this first. Can you remember the last time a movie met the expectations of marketing? I'm not saying that the marketing for it was good and then the movie was bad.
Right.
But that the marketing was honest about what the movie is.
That's true. And that's always an issue because I don't know. trailers are one thing, but like then the marketing around it. And this, I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw such a big push for marketing for.
One just popped into my head, but it's because there's another one coming out soon. I feel like one of the truest marketing campaigns was for Deadpool.
Yes.
That movie was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And exactly what we were told it was going to be.
Right. It was just going to be a goofy. It's Deadpool. Deadpool at his best.
And they somehow did that.
Yes.
Like they did. But it was a movie I was already excited for, but I feel like that marketing was, because it was different than everything that came out before it in like the MCU and like Fox Marvel Universe and all.
Right.
But
yeah, I can't.
Anything that's like way over the top, like we kind of got burned with what was friggin' Corners of the Room little kid bedtime movie.
Oh, Skinamarink.
Skinamarink.
Yeah. That hyped it up for it to be nothing.
Crazy.
For it to be nothing.
Yeah. And we talked about that. I don't think the movie's terrible, but it's something
Sure.
interesting.
It's a film.
Wasn't our favorite. And yeah, particularly with horror movies, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, I was thinking about this afterwards because we went and saw it. 2 out of the 4 of us hated it. Do you really think I didn't like it?
No, I think you would give it like a 6 out of 10, which I think is what you gave it.
Leaving the theater.
Yes.
It's gone up since then.
Oh.
So here's the reason I bring up the marketing. I think it was a bad move.
So off.
I think it was a really bad move. I think it was effective in getting people to the theater.
Yes.
But the more I'm reading people's reactions, the more I'm seeing any negative reactions. The common thread between them all is this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
And I think that can be blamed 100% on the marketing.
Yeah. It was hyping people up for the scariest movie ever.
Yeah.
And I think scary is so loose nowadays.
It is, yeah.
That like that what people think is scary for a horror fan might not be the same as
it varies so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think I'm a little bit desensitized, which we can talk about the things that I think, because also words like disturbing and like all this, like this is going to stay with you for days. So I'm expecting certain things because I do have movies in my mind that have done that. Like Hereditary is the most glaring example. That movie stuck with me. It felt heavy. Like when it was over, I was like, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And I thought about it for a couple days just because of like how I wouldn't call that movie disturbing for multiple reasons. So all that just to mention the marketing, I think was totally misleading because what this movie is basically a 7, Silence of the Lambs. It's a thriller. It's like but it is very dark and there are moments where it is a horror movie.
Yes.
And I say all that because I want anybody who hasn't seen it to have the right expectations because I think the movie's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, he went to amazing.
Yeah, I really think it's an unbelievable movie.
Okay.
Like
So when you sat with it, it grew.
Well, because there were things in the movie. Now, a lot of the push is Nicolas Cage. We don't know what he looks like, and there's a lot of the marketing is around how disturbing he is and how his face is going to stick with you, and so that anticipation was really cool. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I don't think that reveal was kind of what I expected either. Didn't have the impact on me I thought it was going to.
Agreed.
But it took some reflection to realize, like, I'm trying to think. When I was watching it, there were a lot of amazing things, but I had to clock very early. This is not what they've been marketing to me, unless it takes a crazy turn, which it does in some ways. But even then, I was like still trying to adjust to the fact that this wasn't the movie I thought it was going to be.
It's super upsetting that the marketing can really adjust your overall opinion of the movie. I think I was able to detach myself from it because I loved it. I left the theater and I was like, this was such a good movie experience. That being said, I can definitely see the flaws, and even though I can detach myself from the marketing, it is still not even as like scary as I had a little bit of expectation of scary, and there are some like uncomfortable, sketchy scenes for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't hit like the highs of like Hereditary or Smile. You know, something that had some really genuine scary things.
Right.
Just a lot of creepy concepts and lots of anticipation. A lot of scenes where it's just like a wide lens and you're like, is something going to come up behind her? And upon reflection, there are a ton of scenes where there's stuff in the background.
And it forces you to look around. If you, I don't know, I guess the trailers don't give a ton about, like, around what the movie's about. So I'm like even hesitant to kind of give that, because I do think it was kind of good to go in. I didn't really know what I was getting into.
No, all I know, and this is, again, you can see these in the trailer, is essentially just about a serial killer named Longlegs. And they're going around and there's just murders happening. Like, it's very cut and dry what you know about the movie going in. And then the movie is not cut and dry at all.
No. And you're following a young FBI agent. She's brand new on the is it a force?
Task Force.
Yeah. And it basically opens after a really chilling opening sequence.
Yeah, that cold open was like
real cool.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot.
That was a great start.
Yeah. The way they play with your, oh my gosh. Hang on, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but right after that open, you get into the narrative with her on her first job and another really amazing sequence. And it's implied that she has some kind of like ability to kind of know where their suspect is. And so that's the first of like many weird little seeds that are planted throughout the movie. So it very much drags you along throughout in the best way, in my opinion, where you're kind of trying to unravel this mystery with her. And she's so good and awkward and uncomfortable. Like, her performance was crazy. And I was immediately intrigued with that because she's clearly, like, they're clearly telling you something just from the way she acts.
Yes.
It's really obvious. And I thought that was really impressive because, like, the moment you meet her, there's just something about, like why is she acting that way? Like, there's something going on there. It's not just, like, it is, like, that's part of her character, but you know there's some history there.
Right. When you see, like, other hyper-intelligent FBI agents in movies, they are also, like, kind of standoffish and, like, a little
stoic.
Yeah, but she is, like, over-exaggerating. Not the character, but just, like, it's way over the edge of what you expect for this type of character.
Yeah, she looks uncomfortable and nervous, but still, like, poised, doing her job. She's not like a bumbling agent.
Right.
But she looks, like, uncomfortable at all times. So, and that alone is, like, a sort of a seed planted for things to come later. The cinematography, this is where what I was going to say a minute ago about the opening. The sound design and cinematography are literally, like, I know these are the two, like, nerdiest things you can say about a film, but literally, on top of using the word film instead of movie, it is, that alone was worth sitting through it.
Yes.
Like, they could have been showing me old McDonald's commercials and using that sound design, and I would be like, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I
like,
think that's what made me fall in love with this movie.
Yeah.
Is just how expertly crafted all that was. Like, every sound was intentional. I ended up watching a video after explaining things.
I did too.
And there's secrets hidden within the music too.
Oh, cool. I didn't see that video.
If you play it backwards, they say stuff, and there's a lot of, like, cool hidden things within the music and sound design. And
that's cool.
Because it's all intentional. Like, everything in this movie is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And you can decipher it one way, you can read it another way. But that's the thing. I think this movie, everybody's going to get a different reaction out of it because of the sounds and things you can see. And, like, I saw a bunch of secrets in the movie that not everybody noticed.
And I was looking for them.
Yes.
I was literally looking for, because, like we kind of alluded to, they shoot it in a way where there's these long drawn out scenes and they just look good. And they're so quiet and unsettling, but it's long enough to be like, all right, I should be looking for something
Right,
here.
there should be something there.
And I didn't look at the right time, but at one point Tim leans over and he's like, did you see the thing? And I'm like, no, I was looking for something, but what is it?
It happens a lot throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So I recommend when it shows scenes like that, look left, look right, like, also pay attention to what's going on in the middle, but there's a lot of just, like, secrets hiding in the background.
And here's how I started to, my rating scale started to go up, is the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't wait to see it again.
Yes.
I'm dying to see it a second time.
I really want to see it again.
Me too. It was really, really great. And I think one thing that I'm upset about, and the reason I highlighted the marketing so much, is I really think my viewing experience was marred by that because I was like, I think there was a part of me that was annoyed. And I can usually get over something like that because I'm pretty forgiving with movies. Like, I just want to enjoy it and see what the filmmaker and the performers were trying to do. And, you know, when I think about it, the third act is pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
And I can see that sticking with people. But I was kind of like...
I would argue that might be maybe not the weakest point.
I've heard multiple reviews having that reaction.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
the whole movie's great, but the final destination might not feel as fulfilling as the rest of the movie did. For me, anyways.
Yeah.
There are still cool things, and there's still, like, I guess mostly I wanted more. I wanted maybe like another 20 minutes to like explain certain things, or...
That's the thing. I think more questions are left than answers.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if that's a bad thing.
Not necessarily.
You know, like it's a choice.
Yeah.
And so much forethought was put into the film itself that it's hard for me to imagine they didn't intentionally leave all those questions.
Yeah.
You know, so as unsatisfying as that is in some moments, I feel like sometimes that's kind of part of what makes a horror movie unsettling or a thriller unsettling is the things you don't know. And you're like, wait, what the hell? Like, because I would say the third act is probably the most horror movie of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far, because there are scenes that
happens.
are like, yes, a lot
A lot happens.
Things turn up a lot, and yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
I really think while the marketing was great and it was brilliant. I mean, anyone on that marketing team is much smarter than I am, but I do think a lot of people are seeing it and being disappointed in a way they would never have been if this was marketed as like the new Silence, like, you know, a quote that says like, nothing has been this thrilling since the Silence of the Lambs.
I think that actually is a quote.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going around.
Oh, okay.
Like for their marketing.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think they totally shot themselves in the foot because horror fans, we are looking for the next big thing.
Yeah.
And to market a movie as the scariest movie ever and you go and see it and it's not.
That's the thing.
It hurts. Yeah. It hurts horror fans. But again, like as a horror fan, there are a lot of things I appreciate about it and enjoy. So it is good. But yeah, just be aware. I would argue that it is low, maybe not low on the horror scale, but you're not going to get something like, I don't know, like any of the other horror movies floating around recently.
Yeah, I would say it depends on your scale. I'll give an example. Like my wife loves thrillers, and she loves something like Stranger Things, but she has a pretty hard stop at anything that's like too disturbing, horror, gory, like that kind of anything that would fall under those categories.
Yeah.
Which, you know, Stranger Things kind of pushes some of those things.
Yeah.
And the reason I mentioned that is because I was thinking, you know, she loves thrillers. I think she would really like this movie. But there are certain scenes that pop into my head, and I'm like, I don't know if that would... She literally will maybe have a hard time sleeping after. Like, it'll stick with her. So I guess it depends what your scale is. If you guys have a scale... Like, when I heard disturbing... and, you know, scariest movie ever, I'm immediately like, all right, what are those things? Some movies that always stuck with me were like The Descent, Hereditary, Midsommar. There was another one that came to mind that I was like, that stuck with me for a minute. What was it? But those are like, to me, those are the extreme. The Witch, I found The Witch to be really disturbing. And I think things like that are what came to mind. If what comes to mind for you is like Scream and like...
What was that one we saw with... It was the virus going around.
Oh my gosh, the zombie one?
Yeah, that one was so good and super disturbing.
It was.
I can't remember now.
Was it a
When Evil Lurks.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking of that one. When Evil Lurks.
Yes. That was probably one of the most recent examples where I'm like, oh my God.
That's a good call. That's a good call. If you guys don't know what those movies are, that's beyond your scale. I think you'll be okay with this. Like if you're okay with The Silence of the Lambs, or not only okay, I guess my point was this might be really disturbing for you. I'm trying to figure out because like our scales might be different.
Yeah,
like
I think we are definitely used to a lot of disturbing horror stuff. So for me, it definitely hits on it.
Yeah,
but it's not like but I think most people would find it disturbing.
Yeah, I think so too.
The average audience.
Yeah, I guess so.
But all that to say, absolutely a keeper.
Definitely a keeper. Really good. If anyone saw The Black Phone, I don't know what reviews were like for that, but I thought it had some similarities to that. I really liked The Black Phone. And I also love Scott Derrickson, who directed that. So if you liked that, I would say I recommend this too. It had some similarities. Yeah, man, I dug it. I can't wait to see it again. I'm very excited about it.
Good old Longlegs.
Yeah. Should we cap it with that?
I mean, we hit an hour.
We hit an hour. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
We should end on that. I think we're going to do
Sonic music.
That was pretty good. I think we're going to do a full spoiler review of Longlegs on YouTube. It's something we've talked about doing in the past, but haven't. And since this is pretty fresh and I want to dig a little deeper into it, I figure we give this a shot. So if you guys have seen it or you're not going to see it and you're okay with spoilers, go check out our YouTube channel. You can find that on there at some point.
Yeah,
soon. You know what I mean?
Sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later. And I guess that is
Yeah.
A language that's only S's. What am I trying to say? Oh, yeah, I guess that's it. This has been episode number 2. This has been episode. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Number 294 of the Keep Up Podcast. Thank you guys for hanging out. You can find us on all social platforms. That is at the Keep Up Podcast on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. And you can get yourself some extra bonuses at patreon.com/the Keep Up. Tim, tell everyone where they can find you and your work.
You guys can find me at Collection Revolution on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitch, on YouTube, everywhere. Everywhere you can find content.
Everywhere.
There's probably just a little tiny Tim somewhere.
Oh, Tiny Tim.
Yeah, Tiny Tim. Brett.
What?
Where can everybody find you and your weird things that you make?
Oh, it wasn't a body part this week. So you can find all of my stuffs at This Drink I Like It on Instagram. There's a link tree there, and that's got all my stuff. You can find me on on TikTok under that name too. It's right now just like a t-shirt collection. That's what's going on there. You been keeping up with that, dude?
Yeah.
I'm on day 14.
Dude, day 14.
Day 14.
Dude, that mask you found?
How weird is that?
How weird is that?
Isn't that strange?
Yeah, that's a bad omen.
No, not enough people responded to that for me.
Dude, that's insane.
In case you guys aren't going to see it or whatever. So on TikTok, I've just been doing this thing where I wear a different shirt every day and until I go through all of my shirts. And the other day...
Day 13, may I add.
Day 13, I wore a Halloween 2... I didn't even tell you. That same day, I found a Jason mask. I literally have it in the...
How do you find two masks?
All right, so it's day 13. I wore a Halloween 2 shirt, and my job is collecting clothing donations. A lot of time, people will throw in the bin just random stuff, and I'm going through a bin, and there's a Michael Myers mask.
Insane.
It's so weird.
And you've never seen a mask before?
I have found, like, people throw away costumes. I've never found a Michael Myers mask.
Did you keep it?
It's in my truck still. Yeah, I kept it.
How do you wash a mask?
I think you got to turn it inside out and like Lysol it maybe, and then hang it out to dry.
Is it your size? Like,
I don't know. I didn't. It looked like it might be, but I was just like, what are the odds of that?
It's insane. The fact that you're wearing a Halloween shirt, and it's not like you have a ton of them.
No, and it's friggin' July.
It's July.
I think that's my only Halloween shirt.
Yeah.
It's July. So who's throwing out masks now? I emptied that same bin last week, so within the week, someone put it in there. Super strange. And then I literally found a Jason mask later that same day.
I wonder if people are going to start leaving little presents for you to match your shirt.
I don't know. I don't think I've disclosed where I work, just like what I do. Yeah, so that was super weird.
That was crazy.
It's kind of it's been fun though. Like I just do a quick 30-second video every day. What else? Oh, yeah. Hey, if you're in the New England area or you want to be, I have 3 shows in August.
Dude, it's filling up.
My 3rd one just got announced today. So you can find me at Sounds Like ATA on Instagram. That's my hip hop project. If you guys haven't listened to my music, you haven't watched my music videos, I would greatly appreciate it. See if it's for you or if it's for anyone you know. I like when people listen to my music. And I have I just filmed a new music video. I have a new feature track coming out
Dude, you got
at
so
the end
much
of the
coming
month. There's a
out.
lot going on.
We're going to become the keep abolisher. Animatronic the keep up.
The collect up matronic, the abolition.
Dude, I don't know at what point I was with you and what point I left, but
know either,
both of those
man.
happened during that.
Anyways, that's enough promotion. You guys are the coolest. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Special shout out to our patrons. We love that you guys listen to us and hang out with us on YouTube and whatever you're doing. We love you, you know?
Love.
Tim's going to do what's called End Babble, where he talks nonsense for about a minute and a half. Tim, your theme is literal steel rats. Rats made out of steel.
Okay.
Thanks, love you. See you later. Bye.
The clanking of metal as the bars get combined. We are now in the hustle house, where many things get created in this world. First, you had Ronald McDonald, connected by nothing but a few toothpicks and a cheeseburger. And then you had a grill made with ham and tape. And today, we present to you steel rats made with nothing but pizza, kung fu, and this penny that I found on the ground. And these rats will do nothing. They will just hang out. Their tails will go spingy, spingy, and their tongues will go spungy, spungy. But we know the steel rats have one purpose in life: to be a doorstop. So anytime you open a door and you see a steel rat there, remember this: the house of Hirogi made it. And so I'll leave you with this. Doorstops are weird. Nobody needs to buy doorstops. Just get one of those little rubber things, and your doors will be fine. You know, don't put a piece of metal on the ground for people to break their toes on. That's crazy. Thank you.